NoDQ.com.
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 NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
What is up, everybody? How the hell are you? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com and, of course, across the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media. Good to see everybody in already on this Thursday. Let me find the right bloody thing. If I can find it. I don't know. Hell, that's all right. We'll choose this one today. That's okay. It's good to see everybody. As I said, hello to Matthew, hello to Brando, hello to CJ, and to JJ, who's here with us. And yes, let's start right off the top. Let's go ahead and get that out there right now. Our friends at Rangers of Wrestling are 17, less than that, I think. They are close to 1,000 subscribers. If Tatilla can get to the 1,000 by March 4th, she has agreed to watch all the special TV episodes and premium live events presented by NXT and review them. So please, give us a check on that and subscribe to Tatilla over at Rangers of Wrestling. That's youtube.com/Rangers of Wrestling. Marshall, good to see you as well. I know we need to talk about getting you on open mic night. It's just been chaotic, so I do apologize for the lack of response. Ryan, good to see you as well. All right. So this is Talk Wrestling. Let's talk a little wrestling. Lots and lots of events and shows and things going on and coming up. Excuse me. Colin, good to see you as well. Within the quote unquote multiverse, within the wrestling world, excuse me one second here. I don't know why I don't have this queued up for whatever reason. We shall fix it momentarily. There we go. Let's do it. Scroll, my dear. There we go. Thank you very much. All right. Anyway, changing the background a little bit here. So there's a lot of cool stuff, and we always consider this time of year the road to WrestleMania, as it's been labeled. But I really feel like we're doing a disservice to all of the incredible shows coming up. I mean, just tomorrow we've got No Surrender from TNA. Saturday we've got the Elimination Chamber. Next weekend starts a plethora of shows: NWA Hard Times, AEW Revolution, NXT Roadblock, and TNA Sacrifice. And then they've announced recently Supercard of Honor is going to be part of WrestleMania weekend for Ring of Honor itself. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I know the perception of that is it's WWE first, and then of course everybody else. And that is true, because WWE has proven time and time again that they are the industry leader. They are the number one wrestling or sports entertainment, as they'll often remind us, company in the world, and they're going to be. WCW was the only company that had the opportunity, and they did succeed for quite a while, to topple. What do you call it? Topple WWE in that top spot. The thing is, and I will, it feels like for a long time there was a fight for number two, and I feel as though AEW has kind of faltered a little bit in that fight, and they seem to be losing momentum. It doesn't really matter how they, who they sign. Doesn't matter what they, pull off, what TV event they announce. It just seems like they're still, falling farther and farther behind with each passing show. TNA seemed like they were doing very well, and I think their television product is still doing very well as far as the layout of the show, the presentation, whatever you call it. But their reputation took a hit with Scott D'Amore's departure, because the overwhelming feeling, at least that I've noticed, is that Scott D'Amore is very well loved amongst the roster and amongst the fan base. And Anthem has let him go for reasons unknown to me. None of my business. I don't work there. It seems like that, they had momentum with Hard to Kill going into that, and with the rebranding of the TNA name, and now they're just kind of at a standstill, right? So then you've got the NWA, which, we don't, if you're watching this on NoDQ.com, which we appreciate you watching across all of our platforms, a whole lot of coverage because of the poor reputation that company, that brand, that, promotion has picked up for itself in the last year plus. And, they just now this week made their deal with CW official, even though it's been pretty universally known that they're going to be streaming on the CW app. I mentioned Hard Times, but we still don't know if that's going to be actually a streamed live situation on Saturday, March 2nd, or are we going to, is that going to be part of a series of uploads to the episode of Power the following week? We don't know that as fans, which is bothersome. It really is unfortunate. And, with everything going on, the Elimination Chamber being called just a pit stop on this road to WrestleMania, I think is a little bit of a misnomer for the show. You got to figure the other two championship matches, the challenger for Rhea, or the challenger for that title, because Rhea could lose that title on Saturday to Nia Jax. I hope it doesn't happen, but it very well could. And the challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Seth Rollins. Those two will be determined in Perth on Saturday. And it feels like that this show is bigger than it's made out to be, even if the results do seem predictable. There was a question earlier about WWE being less predictable than it has been in recent years. I do agree with that 100%. And I like that. People, when the product is predictable, they'll bitch they want change. When we get something like we've had since Royal Rumble, they'll bitch about, well, it's not what I wanted. Okay, so it's not what you wanted, so it's wrong. I'm all for, differing opinions. I'm all for, going into a sandwich shop or an ice cream parlor, or this tripod not being so wonky, and being able to choose. But if they don't have your flavor of the week when you go in there, do you sit there and, burn the place down? No. You come back again a different week and you try again, or you pick a different option because you don't want to have wasted the gas or the bus fare to get over to these mom and pop shops. I'm making it sound probably more simplistic than I mean to, but it really is that simple, guys. It's, if you don't like what's going on, you have options. The other option is to just not watch the company that you're bitching about. And again, I know some people thrive on the ability to bitch, and I don't disagree with that either. It's what we do throughout this multiverse. So it's like, we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about if there wasn't something to discuss. I just think it's the way that it's discussed that's the problem. But anyway, we talked about TNA, talked about AEW, talked about the NWA. Then you've got New Japan, who for years and years I barely gave a glance at. And in recent years, I've been keeping up with it more. And it also seems like they're kind of maybe stutter stepping. they've lost Okada, to free agency or whatever you want to call it. And Tanahashi is now the president of the company, and that seems like that is a positive step for them. So we'll see what happens with everything with that company. Again, it's very much unpredictable when it comes to the different companies. And then there's these other little independent promotions that don't get a lot of coverage, don't get a lot of time discussed in the media unless there's something bad going on or some sort of oh my god moment in the negative side of things in that little engine that could company. But again, I am all about the variety in wrestling. And again, to the point here, a lot of New Japan's top stars seem to be coming stateside. That's very telling to me, JJ. I don't know about you. That's very telling to me personally. That maybe the perception of wrestling and the quality of match and the popping that infamous scale is less important now than it was even a year ago or 2 years ago. These guys like Kazuchika Okada, like Will Ospreay, who's also leading New Japan full time, are starting to realize that their quality of life in 10, 15 years, when they're having children or they have families or however you want to phrase it, is going to be lesser than, because of what the abuse they've done to their bodies inside that squared circle. And it's seeming like they're realizing that if I'm going to get the shit beat out of myself here on the regular, might as well get paid better for it. Right? And I'm not saying by any means, I don't know New Japan's financial situation. I don't know how that works, but I know Will Ospreay is not Japanese. He likes to travel. He definitely seems like he likes to do his thing. So, I personally think that, if the money's there, they'll take the money, be it stateside or in another part of the world, to, better set themselves up for a future beyond professional wrestling. Because as popular as wrestling is once again becoming, there is still life out there. And you have to be able to go on with that life once your body can no longer handle the grind of, 200 dates a year or whatever the case may be nowadays. So I think the future is good for wrestling, even with all the negative press at the tippy top of the business, because of everybody else still involved. I don't think we've heard the last news from the Vince McMahon story by any means. Excuse me. I don't think we've heard the last of people that are going to get thrown under that bus at all. I think there's going to be more of the story with Anthem and with and Scott D'Amore, and maybe him being brought back. No, the Tiffy top seems to be doing okay, JJ. The Tiffy top of the business is doing well. Tiffany Stratton is an awesome competitor. And I think that she's got a bright future as well. The women's wrestling situation, I think, is more, I'll use the word diverse, to talk about than it has been in a long time. Because I remember when AEW started 5 years ago, they seemed to be the place to be, right? But now, NXT especially, NXT is definitely once again that breeding ground, for lack of a better term, for these top wrestlers. And Tiffany Stratton's a great example. When she made her debut on NXT television, I just, another Barbie type. Oh Lord, this is ridiculous. Didn't even want to give her the time of day. Even when she won the NXT championship, I was just OVER it. Like, nope, don't care. Doesn't matter to me. just over it, right? By the way, I appreciate that screen name, but if you're a mark for me, you might want to spell my name right. Just throwing that out there. It's literally right here. Kind of silly. I just sorry, just caught my eye. It sounded funny. But anyway, Tiffany Stratton's a great example of the system still doing this thing, because she did not impress me when she debuted in NXT, and I cannot wait to see what she does Saturday in the Elimination Chamber. I am so very much looking forward to her participation as anything else on Saturday. Looking forward to Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. I know people aren't very high on Nia Jax, me included, but I'm curious if they will put her over Rhea in Australia and see what that crowd does with that. I don't think it'll happen. But again, stranger things have happened. I'm curious who wins the chamber match and will face the winner of the Rhea Ripley Nia Jax match. I'm curious how they're going to build Io and Bayley. SmackDown is tomorrow. I need to watch last week's SmackDown still. I've been a little crazy busy with everything, but again, it has piqued my curiosity, and that's what wrestling should keep doing. Not just for me as a fan, but for me, as a content creator. I want to be able to latch onto stuff and talk about it. Women's wrestling is one of those things that I've always talked about because I've been such a fan. WWE is improving vastly. TNA, while they are still the brand that has the best women's wrestlers and enough of that entertainment appeal to definitely keep the eyes from the fans, I feel like they've kind of not stutter stepped, but they've definitely slowed momentum a bit. Naomi returning, I thought, to WWE, excuse me, Trinity WWE, was a little bit of a surprise. And she's kind of just been there since she returned. Hopefully that changes within WWE. Definitely looking forward to Jordan Grace and Giselle Shaw tomorrow during No Surrender. I think I'm very curious how that's going to play out with those two. And yeah, to your point, I couldn't remember the other name, JJ. Thank you. Deonna Purrazzo leaving TNA was big for them. It was a huge loss for them. AEW picking her up is great on paper, but what happens beyond Revolution? Does Deonna beat Toni Storm, or does she get lost in that, as JJ said this morning on Dad's, that proverbial catering shuffle with Mercedes Moné allegedly coming back to American wrestling and debuting with AEW in Boston? Is everybody else going to be pushed aside again, like always seems to happen? I think that's a major problem, not just with AEW, not just with it, but it seems. I kind of compare it to my hockey team, the LA Kings. It feels like they'll focus on the young up and coming talent, the fresh signees, the people that have been training for a while and really seem to have that hunger to bring the team forward and make the brand grow. And then, ooh, look, new shiny toy with big star power. Let's bring them in and trade away our future. The Kings do it all the time. Every few years, yes, but they do it, and it's ridiculous. And I hope that they don't do that with Mercedes Moné if she is in fact coming to AEW. And again, we don't know that for sure, but the rosters definitely, the posters definitely very telling. Yeah, and again, another AEW person, Thunder Rosa. She was gone so long, and then she came back to TV as a commentator on Collision. She made her return in the ring, and now she's the queen of Collision, as JJ said in the chat room. Like, make me care. Make me want to watch, not just tune in for that 1 week, get that ratings, needle to move, and then by second, third, or even fourth week, they're just there. And that's not just with the females, that's with anybody. CM Punk was touted as a major, acquisition, and he was for AEW, but because people's attitudes, it didn't last. He brought back WWE with much fanfare. Injury, he's out of the picture right now. Goodness, Charlotte Flair injury. We'll never really know what the plan was for WrestleMania with Charlotte, but injuries, happen. And I like the fact that they've been able to pivot the story, whatever it was going to be with the women's division in WWE, but it really felt like they were going somewhere with Charlotte. And I know a lot of people don't like that, and that's that is what it is. But I would have loved to seen her and Jade, or her, something with the horsewomen that didn't involve any of them being in the title picture. If they were able to re-sign, Mercedes, and Sasha Banks would come back, something with the four of them that was not one of them challenging for a championship. There were so many possibilities, and I was talking earlier about the big stars, the up and coming stars in wrestling that just seem like they sputter step because of the name talent being thrust in front of them. Wardlow, I think, is the best example of AEW. That guy had money written all over him like it was in tattoo ink, let alone permanent marker. And then he became Max's bitch. And then it seemed like he was going to go off on his own. And then he didn't. And now he's just part of this Undisputed Kingdom thing. And that guy is too genetically gifted to just be what he is now. And it's so unfortunate. It really is kind of ridiculous, at least for me. His promo last night was very telling of how he feels. And is it too late? Has he had too many, potholes in the road that he's had to drive over, that his tires are not just shredded to shit now, and it's just too late to get the momentum back on the road? I don't know. But what I do know is that I do thank everybody for tuning in today. I'm actually seeing the clock here and realizing that it is Thursday and I need to be prepared for the arrival of my boy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start the shilling, because even though it's not Meacham Musings, we're still shilling on a Thursday. So here we go. Tomorrow on the Custodian Studios and the Simple Man brand, our friends Noah and the Renegade JJ Williams will be simply predicting TNA's No Surrender, which of course will be a live Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media watch-along event. That is also tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. We will follow up with a almost live watch-along of the Elimination Chamber. We're not going live at 2 o'clock in the morning Pacific time because we are old and we enjoy our sleep here in the multiverse. So check us out as we cover Chamber. If you guys want to wake up with us, that's great. We understand, obviously, if you're not going to watch, if you want to watch live, you're crazy or nuts, but we love you anyway. We'll be watching Chamber and doing our reactions, play-by-play, all the things at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, Saturday, the 24th. And as I mentioned, NWA Hard Times, if it is indeed a live on the app presentation, we will be providing coverage Saturday night, March 2nd at 8 Eastern, that's 7 Central, 5 Pacific. We'll probably go live the hour before. Again, we are still waiting for confirmation from the NWA, from Billy Corgan, somebody, if we're actually doing a actual like pay-per-view style presentation like they do on Peacock, or if we're just going to have this show recorded and divided up for episodes of Power. We won't know. Hopefully we will soon. And of course, AEW Revolution featuring Sting's last match will be on Sunday, March 3rd. NXT Roadblock will be Tuesday, March 5th. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow will be another TNA premium presentation, and sacrifice. And as they announced yesterday on Dynamite, Supercard of Honor will apparently officially kick off the weekend of wrestling in Philadelphia, as they will be live Friday night, April 5th. And of course, Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver from NXT, WrestleMania, Raw After Mania. We're doing the things, so be on the lookout for that. That's really it for me, guys. I wanted to get out here and talk. I was hoping to answer some questions, but didn't see that lovely little thing that dings a super chat. So, guys, didn't get your questions answered. It is what it is. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate everybody following along. This week on Open Mic Night, in addition to our usual topics, we'll be playing Push, Bench, or Repackage this week. So check out Open Mic Night. We've got a cool lot of topics to discuss. And of course, it's a regular episode, if you will, because we're going at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, because we don't have to go right after the pay-per-view. We're gonna get a little break in between the premium event and an Open Mic Night, which is always nice. So stay on the lookout for that. In the meantime, I did mention the watch-alongs. You will not see NWA Hard Times because it is confirmed, nor will you see Supercard of Honor because it wasn't announced when the trailer was made. However, we sign off today with a look ahead. What's coming up across the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse Media. Have a good night, guys.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Somebody got the memo in the chat room. We'll go ahead and stop for a second. Thank you for $5 super chat from CJ. When Bayley goes back babyface, she already is. Should she go back to the hugger gimmick or a new one? She's not going to go back to the hugger gimmick yet. I think we need to. She's definitely been organically turned babyface, CJ, but I think that we're going to stick with this different Bayley rather than the full-time hugger, right? Just makes more sense to me. All right, let's try that beautiful bean footage again, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow across the Multiverse of Media for our coverage of No Surrender with Simply Predicting and the live event itself. Good night.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.